Man, I'm telling you, the weight of this phone it's different. It's I don't know. I can definitely feel the difference in the weight. What's going on, people? I am back with another video, and this time we're gonna do my review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. And yes, I've owned the 5, and so I'm making a comparison at the same time. As an average guy using this phone, not as a super techie, even though I can be super techie sometimes, I'm using it, looking at content mostly, doing regular stuff like that. But it's good. Well, we'll get into why I think this phone is good for somebody like me. So first, what are some of the things I've noticed the difference between the 5 and the 6? And the answer is really nothing. Like, you got the crease in the inside, but your fingers can still feel it going across. But just like all the time, if you're not looking for it, it's really not there. Battery life is not really, I think that's a hard gauge because I'm not working with a brand new Z Fold 5. So that would be a hard kind of sell to be like a battery that's a year old is now compared to a battery that's a day old or 7 days old or 2 weeks old or whatever. It's not a year old. So I feel like that's a hard comparison. I think my comparison is that this phone goes through the day if I'm not looking at content heavy. If I'm looking at content heavy, then I think the phone lasts maybe 8-9 hours, but I think that's still good compared to how big of a screen it has to bright light up, all the stuff you're doing, if you're receiving notifications. I think that's a pretty good battery life. I'm not saying it's perfect. I know people would like battery life to go all day. And if you're more of a moderate to light user, I think this battery life will last you most of your day because most people charge at nighttime. Even though you shouldn't, most people do. That was a little rant. But yeah, if it's for battery life, I think it passes for the average phone, especially being what it is. Outside of that, there's not too much that's different. Like the difference to me, this looking at the phones, the difference is the square body that the Z Fold share versus the Samsung Galaxy 5, which should be on the screen. The 5 has more of a round body, the Fold has more of a squarish off body. I like the color choices, but that changes every year, so that could be different. I did want to get the white, but I kind of was like, that's not really necessary to get. All right, so though that was one of the things that I noticed when I picked it up. It's just weight. When I first picked up this phone versus the 5, I can feel that difference in the weight that the 6 had and versus the 5. But I think outside there's not a huge difference. It's the same camera array. The hinge, which is probably deal with the weight, the hinge and the screens are newer technology, so that makes the phone a lot lighter. The technology they are, I don't think it really matters to the average person. That's what I'm really serving, because I don't think the screen and the new mechanism that they're using for it matters, because we just have to do a durability test, and durability tests are usually something over time, like between usage, droppage of what a normal person does. Can it survive that? I've seen breakdowns where they've done like actual durability tests and they didn't do so well on those, but those durability tests are like in extreme measures and stuff like that. We want to know, can it survive the average everyday person user, especially somebody like me, because I have a case on it now, but I'm not a big case person, so you usually won't catch a case on my phone just because they make the phone bulkier and everything. There's a short on why I have this case. Go watch that. But other than that, I don't see a huge difference with the Galaxy Z Fold Flip, right? The camera array is the same for most part. The speakers are supposedly upgraded, but I don't hear difference. What I want to report on this channel is real differences, not manufacturing difference. Manufacturing differences are like, oh, it's 10% better. But is that 10% translated to the actual utilization of the device, right? If the speaker's at 10% better, can I hear that? Or do they sound the same as the last speaker, which makes that 10% minute, right? The borders are 50% cut down, right? But can I see that as I'm using the device? Does it look bigger? I have to say, in all honesty, yes. It actually make the device look bigger. In this case, the borders were cut down from the 5 from the 6, and that does make the phone actually look a lot more wider, especially in the narrow part. So that part is good, right? And when you got a case, there's almost no borders at all that's even there. It's like gone. But if you were somebody looking for all this phone that has everything, it has the S Pen, but it's not Bluetooth. It's really the basic one, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I just don't see the purpose of even getting it. To me, one of the best parts about the Bluetooth pen was you can like sit from a remote, boom, snap the picture. Now, if you have a Galaxy Watch or if you have a Galaxy Ring, then you could kind of do that with those. So you really wouldn't even need the Bluetooth pen. I think the pen is really good for people who might be using it as a notepad, jotting down notes, want to circle some stuff from a PowerPoint. And I think from that perspective, it might be utilized. But I don't think a lot of people are going to utilize the pen. So I don't think it's a big selling feature for this phone. I think if it was integrated, more people would be willing to give it a shot. But by it not being integrated, I don't see a lot of people kind of opting into using the pen for the device. So that's not really a big thing. To be perfectly honest, if you have the 5, there's no real reason to upgrade to the 6. I can't imagine those Samsung Galaxy AI features are going to always be limited to the Fold 6. I imagine at one point they're going to go to the Fold 5 because some of those features can definitely be in the Fold 5 with the process they have in there. But if you're a big fan of AI and you want to see Galaxy AI and if it's working really good, it's okay. I've tried it out in a conversation. It's good. If I don't think, like, I was thinking, here's my scenario, right? I was thinking in Detroit, there's a lot of stores that's owned by Arab people or different stores owned by different people, and you always catch them speaking different languages. So sometimes you be like, I ain't talking shit. And you might want to, like, you pull out this phone. I was able to kind of detect a little bit. It couldn't catch everything because the volume would have to be louder, but it caught a little bit of something. They weren't talking smack according to Google, so you know, I guess in that case it was useful, but I didn't find a big use case for a lot of Google AI stuff, circling things and things like that. I've been used to Googling. I'm pretty resourceful. I think if you wanted it and it was good in a pinch, you just couldn't think of something, it might be good in those cases, but I wouldn't see it no different than like Google Lens or something like that if you're just looking to circle. AI features are for those people who are really into AI. I don't think the average user is. They just want a phone, can get on social media, take a couple videos and pictures, and in this case, consume content a lot easier, read books a lot faster. If you're into Kindle, this could be pretty good for you. So, yeah. But in terms of just pure size and how things looks and stuff like that, I didn't see a huge difference, right? It's hard for me to say recommend this phone when there's not a lot of difference, right? The inside, as you scroll, you rubbing your fingers across, scrolling through. Yeah, on the 5, you can feel a lot more of that pronounced crease or fold. When you're surfing, just regularly going through it, you're not going to be able to tell that. That's not going to be something that's going to register to your mind. I've handed people my phone and they'll go through it and they kind of just forget about the crease. I would say the only time you might think about the crease is if you flip the phone sideways and you're scrolling through. But most people who flip the phone sideways are looking at content. They're not scrolling through something. It's better to scroll, even the book part, in this way, which your hand would probably never really go across the top like this because you scroll like that. So in that case, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you're going to be doing that. So in my experience with the phone, as a big guy, somebody with really big hands, grippy hands, and when you're typing, you're texting, how is it, right? That front screen, that narrowness of that front screen, I fat finger a lot on that thing, man, and I wish it was bigger. It's better than last year. I don't fat finger as much as I did, but it's still there just due to the sheer size of my thumbs and everything when I'm going through. Can I grip it with one hand and go to the top? I can, but that don't necessarily mean it's a one-hand phone, but I can use it in one hand pretty easy. While you open it up, that's where all the magic happened right here. It's opened up, and now, boom, 2 hands. And when I type on here, text message wise, man, it's perfect, right? Your big hands fits in this big phone. And I hear the people like, oh, I wish they would shrink it. I don't think that. I don't think they should shrink it because I guess it doesn't fit some of these people's phone. I like this size, right? I feel like there's other folding phones out there that I haven't had, but they're for surely fit that more narrow, fatter version. But I feel like this is a good one because regardless of the orientation of the phone, you get a full screen, right? If it's oriented up and down, I feel like that's a good way to look at emails, text messages, things of that nature. If it's oriented to the side, that's a good way to look at content, be and comment and stuff like that. Even if you fold, because you know YouTube and Google integrated, content to be at the top, like control to be at the bottom. If you're into stuff like that, I think that's more of a gimmick, but it's something that exists in a different form factor if you needed to. In terms of just feel, man, the feel for the phone is amazing. Software for Samsung has always been, well, not always, but lately, especially after adding that little bottom tab in your phone at the bottom, like right here at the bottom, that tab is super helpful, man. Like you put those quick bar tabs on there, it makes you feel like really it's a tablet at that point. But those tabs really helpful. So to me, Samsung software, even the camera part, when you don't have like the Ultra or anything else that can take pictures with you, you can open up the camera and take a selfie with the 3 cameras on the back. You don't have to use that in-screen camera that's in the front of it. You don't have to use that because the in-screen camera, the camera on the back, and the camera right here, none of that have changed in years. They're all the same. So if you really want the best selfie, I feel like the best way to get that is to open the camera up, choose to turn on the screen. I'll show you right now. So you can activate it. So hey, you see that? I can see what I'm taking a picture of, just like that. I can see what I'm taking a picture of. So it makes it easier if you needed to take those wide angle selfies from just that vantage point. You don't have to use that inside camera. You don't have to use the face camera here. You can use the main cameras on the back and take full advantage of that. And that's something you can't necessarily get in other phones. Now, if you have a watch or something like that, especially like you got the Apple Watch, you can see the screen and you can't take advantage of that. But if we're just talking pure phone, right? This is one of the few phones where you can use those back cameras and still take a selfie. So, good. Now, is this phone big fella approved, right? Is this big fella tech here? And the answer gotta be without a livable doubt, yes. Right? Are there some downfalls? Yeah, that narrow screen really kind of messes you up. And I guess if you hate rubbing your fan across the crease, that could be a downfall. But in real practical, just everyday uses of everybody, I don't think, right? Even people who got this phone, my job, I see plenty of people who get this phone, and it's content related. Nobody's thinking about like all these AI features. Nobody's thinking about the narrow screen in the front. People are like loving it because that content that's being created or that content that's being consumed, you can see it. It's a lot more clear. The screen is better. Overall, just great. And like I said, it's get that big fella stamp of approval. It has proven to be a big fellow phone time and time again, no doubt at all, right? Would I recommend getting this phone, especially as a big fella? Yes. If you have the 5, should you upgrade? No. Unless you're a techie, which the answer will always be yes if you're a techie. If you're a techie, if you're not, keep your 5. Wait till next year. Let's see if we get some true innovation kind of happening. Let's see if we get some upgraded cameras. Let's see if we get an S Pen integration. And then maybe upgrading would be a better option then. But for right now, the answer is no. All right. So if you stuck around for this video, I appreciate you sticking around. If you can like, if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And maybe comment in the bottom about how you feel about the video, whether or not you think I did something wrong. Did I miss anything you think I should have covered? Let me know in the comment section below. And without further ado, Mr. XX Trixie is out.